Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, tell the truth, and Carta.
You should tell the truth.
Yeah.
If only everybody believed that.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Okay. Yes. Wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
So, why are you calling yourself that?
Because I learned from a little alien that one lie leads to another, and you can't keep track of your story. And so eventually you just have to tell the truth because you're not going to be able to even keep up with your lies. And also to not steal coins from a lost treasure and like jiggle it in your pocket so that your entire classroom can hear that. And then your teacher has to tell you like 3 separate times, like to shut the hell up, you know, that kind of thing.
I used to do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like every week, my teacher was always like, you know, shut the hell up. She wasn't a nice teacher.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very nice, yeah.
No. Yeah, but those were better times. You know, back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
When the world was, you know, living under Reagan.
Oh, yeah, it was perfect.
Speaking of Reagan, have you heard about these new Reagan coins you can buy?
I guess. I mean, it's just, why are they new? Like, I mean...
I don't know, but you can buy them. I heard it on a podcast. They're these commemorative coins for Reagan. You know, the greatest president of the 20th century.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that, but
he didn't hurt the country at all.
No, not really.
No, he didn't make it possible for a bunch of, you know, people with AIDS to die or anything.
No, nothing like that. It's weird though that, you know, suddenly they're picking him. Like, I don't know, it's bizarre to me. Like, I don't get why.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, we went through these years with Trump prior to this, and he's kind of, and people look at, you know, Trump as the next Reagan, even though Reagan would probably, you know, murder Trump. But
yeah, or it's just bizarre to me because, like, I mean, why not have one about like George H.W. Bush or one about like Gerald Ford, you know, or something like that?
I'm sure they do, but all I've heard lately on a lot of podcasts I listen to are these Reagan coin ads. And most of them are surprisingly on these liberal podcasts I listen to.
Yeah, they're just they do that stuff all the time. They try to undercut you.
Yeah, it's basically like, you know, we're going to advertise a Big Mac on a vegetarian podcast. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Well, they do that to undercut because they kind of just want to make their point of view the first thing that you hear before you actually hear what you came there for. And it's kind of meant to sway the new audience, not the audience that's normally there. It's meant to any newcomer that might be there. They might be on the fence about what they're going to listen to or whatever. So then that's their way of like intercepting, basically.
It's possible that AI just sucks and chooses random ads.
It's like an algorithm that just sees like a theme, like, oh yeah, we're just going to put this ad there. You know, speaking of Reagan wanting to kill Trump, or maybe I shouldn't say kill it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then, I don't want to get like flagged or whatever, but is that I remember seeing this old debate between, I think it was between Reagan and another Republican during like a primary. Yeah, I think it was a primary because it was when I think it was when Jimmy Carter was running for like a second term, and then it was, I don't know if it was Reagan versus George W. Bush. I mean, George H.W. Bush or some other Republican. But the question posed by like the person who was like moderating it was basically about like, what they felt about like immigrants or something like that. And it was so weird because each of the Republican candidates, Reagan versus the other guy, they were trying to outdo each other about how much they love immigrants. And so whoever would win was the one that could convince, like, no, I love immigrants more than my opponent. Yeah. Now it's who hate immigrants more. Like, like.
I mean, in recent memory, there's been people dying trying to get over to the country, because, and because of stuff that's been done by the Texas governor. But yeah, anyways,
it's so bizarre too. Like just like the change in culture of like I love these people more than my opponent does. Vote for me. Now it's I hate these people more than my opponent does. Vote for me. It's just so sad. Like,
yeah,
it really is. But
well, I mean, it's also like, I mean, but then you did have, like, we're speaking of Reagan, and I know that we're going to get to our topic here soon.
I know. It's
but he had friends who were like really close friends that were gay, but hated the gay community at the same time.
People are so complicated.
I know.
It is weird, but people are just so there's so much cognitive dissonance in people's minds. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And so if I haven't turned off half of our audience here, let's talk about it's me. Let's talk about a kids show.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, talk about a kids show. It's like what?
So this week we're covering the 1995 50-minute film called Tall Tales and Lost Loot: A Kid's Guide to Honesty. It's a follow-up, I believe, of the Street Smart video, or what is it?
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was called Get Street Smart.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, where we have our good friend Corny the Alien joining us. This movie has no IMDb page.
Oh wow!
So there's no Wikipedia page for it. There's like hardly anything online about this.
Damn.
So it's like really hard to research this one.
That's really sad. Yeah, I know. It's like there's like no research. I guess you could just try to scour the internet. Google used to be easier to find obscure stuff. That's the other topic too that I don't want to get into too much, but like I remember I used to be able to search things on Google, like find like an obscure blog or something to read. Now it seems like everything's filtered through Google. Like,
it's AdSense and stuff like that makes things go first. Like, the first things people pay to have their page be the first thing. Like when you look up aardvarks, and this is the first thing that comes up about aardvarks because I paid money for it. Not that somebody.
I just think that's wrong. I think it should be how many views a website gets rather than how much it's paid for. Because. But anyway,
but that's how Google makes their money. So,
I know. It just, I remember just even like 5 years ago, it was easier to find things that are a little bit more obscure. Nowadays, it's like you're lucky to find anything that's a little bit obscure.
And speaking of websites, by the way, all2real2.com, we've switched over to a new host because the one that we were on was going to charge a lot of money. So now the website, make sure you type in all2real2.com, sometimes with a www for it to come up, or it might try to direct you to the old website that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Even though it's the same web address, but sometimes when I type it in, and this is just because I just did this a few days ago as we record, it tries to take me to the old site, even though it's supposed to be directed to a new site. So Yeah, so you know,
Wow.
yeah, and it comes and the old site comes up first in Google, and the new site.
That's okay.
It's weird.
That's
Yeah,
good to know. That's
yeah. So the audience, you know, if you're having problems finding it, just send me a message at mike@cullenpark.com, and I'll make sure we get you to the right place. But it should be okay. I mean, after a while, I think it just needs some time to iron itself out. You know.
yeah. It'll work out the bug in the machine or whatever.
Yeah. But speaking of bug-like things, Corny.
The alien Capricorn from Zardog or whatever the planet is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was your initial thoughts on this movie here?
I was bored for like the first half, but then it got really interesting during like the second half.
Yes.
And it was very trippy. Kind of like the first, well, I don't really know the number of episodes of these series. I don't even know if they even had a number of episodes, like a numbering of like which order to watch these episodes. But, and that one had some weird trippy stuff, like where he was like, had that little zapper device that like put him into like the hot tub with these like old people, and like other weird scenarios, like riding on like horseback facing the opposite direction of the cowboy.
Yeah, he was zapping himself into like a hot tub with old people, and like quite possibly the weirdest porn film ever made.
Yeah, well, he was trying to do this, evading sex offenders the whole time as he was doing, and then he would just use this zapper because this kid couldn't like. I mean, I feel really bad for him. Like, he almost got attacked by like 80 different people in like a span of like 15 minutes. I'm like, how many predators, you know, are in the area? Like, just, I mean, it's like a town where they all live in, and he just happens to live in that town, which is weird. Why would his family move there with there's whatever? That's a whole other thing. Maybe it was cheaper, you know, mortgage or rent or something like that. I don't know. But in this one, though, there's not quite that, but there is some really weird, trippy moments where he's like in these weird dream states, and there's like this weird guy called the Hat Burglar for some reason.
Yeah.
Just steals hats, which is weird because in this episode, the lost loot are clothing. It's points. So I'm not sure why there's a hat burglar in the place where they're trying to look for coins.
I think it was because it was a play on the cat burglar, and now it's a hat burglar.
It's a hat burglar, yeah. I guess, but
yeah.
So that was my reaction. It was boring, and then it got really trippy, just like most of the Corny movies do, which did not disappoint me. I'm going to use some of that for like some music videos of mine. I'm just going to put clips of him like going through like the weird, like delirious.
You should do a remix of the greatest song in the world that's in this.
Oh, I'm going to actually, because I have a program now, or it's a website actually, where you could isolate instrumental and vocal tracks, and it actually does it really well. You could sort of hear, like, especially with older recordings, because back then they would like record like a piano and on the same thing as the vocal tracks, so you could sort of hear things in the background there. But it's actually done. It's pretty well. Like, I've done a few tracks. I did like a Moonshadow by Cat Stevens, and it's like the vocals are like almost near perfect. Like, you can hardly hear anything in the background. So like, if I want to do like a mashup for like Moonshadow, I could just put his vocals on like a different track, or make like a remix even maybe, or something like that. So I could totally just do that. I could totally just take the instrumental track of this the Lie song or whatever, or the vocals, and just kind of do like my own remix or something like that.
Could play some nice music underneath it. As I was doing research on Corny, I'll tell you what I thought of this actually too. I thought it was pretty corny. And so I was doing research, and it appears that like a couple years before this Corny series came out, there was a Saturday morning television show called The Amazing Live Sea Monkeys. And if you look it up, the costumes look almost identical to Corny for the sea monkeys. And like they had to have been made by the same people. I haven't found much more about it, but like to prove that they were. But they are. I'll send you a picture of it later.
Okay.
Later, Sesame, and but it's interesting. But yeah, it's just wanted to throw that out there. So if anybody has any info on that, send me a message at mike@cullenpark.com. So yeah, because I want to find out. Yeah. Let's get into the plot here.
Sure.
What happens?
I don't even know where to begin on this one. It's like it starts like he's having a dream, or at least I don't see, that's the other thing. I don't know if he's having visions or just like living in his imagination, or if he's actually zapping himself into these locations. But that's the whole other thing.
I have a question too as we start about his living situation. He's living with this like human family.
Yeah.
In the previous in the Street Smart one that we watched, I thought he had a family that were of his kind.
Yeah, I thought that too. His bed was in a different direction than that one.
Yeah, it's like he was living but now because in this he does call what's the other character's name that Tara Noah Smith plays?
Jonathan or John?
John. Yeah, and it's Tara Noah Smith from Home Improvement who's playing him. There's no mention of John in the other thing. He's like randomly living with it, but John's grandfather, he calls Corny calls Grandpa, but
yeah,
John's mom he calls Mrs. Z.
Yeah, it's he did call her mom once, but then he called her Mrs. Z for the rest of the movie. So I don't understand what that's all about. And
because like in the other way, my thought was that it was a whole family that came from some other planet and was living among Earthlings. But this is more like an elf situation where it was like one alien who came and is living with a family.
Yeah, like the whole, and that kind of makes more sense though when they say like your favorite like exchange student, because usually an exchange student, the parents don't move with the student. You know what I mean? Like and so I don't really understand, because that would just be a family just moving to a different country or place. Like that wouldn't be an exchange student.
And my favorite bad joke from almost any sitcom that has an exchange student in it is when they introduce the exchange student. It's like, who did we exchange him for?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Is that what that means? But I guess not. Like they don't actually send someone.
Yeah, I mean, so like when I was in high school, there was this really, really attractive exchange student who had a crush on me. But that's another story. But then she ended up dating my friend, because I was really quiet and shy, and she thought I was like stuck up and didn't want to talk to her.
Yeah, like disinterested or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. So her name was Yessie. If you're out there, Yessie, and you remember me, I hope you're doing well. But she lived with my friend Cece. Yeah. Lived with her family, but I don't think like, and Cece went to this all girls school in Toledo, St. Ursula, I think, or Notre Dame, one of the two. She went to that, but I don't think that they necessarily sent another kid from St. Ursula to like live with Yessie's family.
Right. Or some other family or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, they might have, but I mean, I don't know. Because like, I was always, when I was a kid, I was always under the impression that like, if it was like an exchange student, like if like we could send my sister to Europe, then they would send like a European student to live with me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I thought. But no.
Me too. I always thought that was like what that meant. I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, you probably do have American students who do get sent abroad if they want to go to school like in Spain or something.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's like a 1-for-1 exchange, like from
no, exactly,
like family A and family B switch kids or something. It's not like that like reality show where they switch moms or something.
Yeah, because they call it wife swap.
Yeah,
Student swap.
yeah.
Or whatever. That would actually not be a bad show, because
I think
one would.
I think we're onto
That would
something, and we should probably, keep it to ourselves, and then we can pitch this to the studio soon.
We could. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're gonna need more reality shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, he's having like nightmares and stuff or something.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
About fighting his own planet or his own people, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, but it's corny. So I mean,
I was honestly like bored for like the first, like you said, the second half got better, but like the first
half was just nothing was going on.
Yeah,
just the lost Louis grandpa, quote unquote grandpa, is played by a great actor, which I forgot his name,
Dick Van Patten. He was he's known for like 8 Is Enough and stuff like that. But yeah.
And he used to be, I guess, like in the FBI or something a long time ago. And he's like obsessed with this certain like treasure that someone had, I guess someone who worked at the bureau, but then he went to jail because he was like stealing the treasure or something and hiding it in like a certain place. And they never really found it, but he had heard a rumor that there was like a map, and he was just like obsessed with solving this case. And so Corny kind of believes everything that's told to him, which I guess kind of makes sense with the last episode where he got abducted by like 80 different predators, because he just believes every story someone tells him. Like, oh, my kid's in the hospital or something, or no, I'm trying to charge batteries for my daughter's video game. Can you go help me get the batteries and put it in the game? Like, what? Like, or something like that. Or so I guess he just believes anything anyone tells him because he's horny, and so he's like obsessed with the story too. In class, they have this thing where they write a journal about true stories that happen over the weekend.
Yeah,
and then they gotta just go read in front of the class about whatever they did that weekend. But Corny takes the opportunity to tell Paul tales, which obviously are not true.
Right, he was telling him like Jack and the Beanstalk and other things.
Yeah, it's just like, which is weird, because he's telling stories that other people know are fiction, which is like a extra layer of telling a tall tale. Mm-hmm. Because like normally when you tell a story that's a lie, you actually make up the story and that no one else knows it. You don't go like I didn't go up in front of class and be like, "You're never going to believe what happened to me. So I live with my aunt and uncle. They're really mean to me. They make me sleep under like in a cupboard underneath. And like this big guy and all these owls were trying to send me letters. Like what? Like everyone knows it's Harry Potter. Like, And so, but
it's like that episode of The Office, where they're going around telling like tragedies from their past, and then it gets to Ryan, and he just starts talking. He starts relaying the plot of The Lion King. Has like what happened to him as a kid.
You're like,
it's like my uncle killed my dad.
It's like, wait, what? Or it kind of reminds me of Step Brothers, where Dale's in therapy and he's like, "Tell me about yourself." He's like, "Yeah, I work as a janitor at college, and I see these little equations on the board. I can just solve them really quickly. Even I'm like smarter than everyone else there, but I don't actually go to school." He's like, "Is that Good Will Hunting?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, that sounds a lot like the plot of Good Will Hunting." He's like, "Yeah, whatever. Anyway, my best friend's Ben." I don't know. Just
not even the character's name. It's just like my best friend is Ben Affleck.
But his teacher, she's like really super patient with them, because like he does this like 3 separate times in the same session.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, sit down, please. Like, you don't really understand the assignment." And Corny, he doesn't understand anything. And he writes something else. He goes up again, tells another false story. They're like, "No." And so finally he's back with his grandpa, talking about the coins or whatever. And I guess, Mrs. Z or Bob, depending on, I guess, the mood he's in, then he decides to
Yeah,
And
I sometimes just call my mom Mrs. Robertson.
yeah, I mean,
That's her last name. But yeah,
I mean,
like,
whatever works. I mean, yeah. And then, and so they need to clean up the table. For some reason, they eat all their meals outside, which is weird, but okay. I mean, I don't really know why. That probably because they don't have a real house. Probably just had a set, and
yeah, they probably just had like a bedroom set and like a and then a backyard that they were allowed to film in.
That was like my guess why that's happening, because you could see her at one point. She's like walking like in this weird like she's like really far away, and you see her walking like in like the sidewalk type of thing, and she like does this like loop before she gets all the way to the table that they eat all of their meals. Breakfast, that was the first meal they're eating when the grandpa was talking about the mystery of this, secret treasure. And then they have to clean up the table for dinner. The grandpa just leaves everything there, all the coins and everything. So then Corny, he pockets a few of them to, I guess, show off to his friends or the teacher or whatever. And they don't believe him, obviously, because everything he says is a lie. And then he ends up not telling his grandpa because I guess the treasure map got lost or something. And but the coins are lost too. So he thinks that like a burglar came and stole like the whole thing because like they're on the case or whatever. This grandpa's like really paranoid about this particular story. You also got this other B plot where like the mail lady is like super into the grandpa.
Yeah, Vicki Lawrence, who is famous for being Mama on Mama's Family, plays the mail lady. Yeah. She used to be on the Carol Burnett show and stuff like that too. But yeah,
like at one point, I was just kind of like about to like shake the grandpa. I was like, this lady like fucking wants you, bro. Like, Jesus. Like, come on. Like, I mean, she's pretty. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then, I mean, like, she's giving like obvious.
Yeah, she was totally into him.
Yeah, like I know sometimes you might get a wrong signal. No, there's no way. This is a wrong signal. And then again, maybe he needed Corny's actual signals because his ears also double as a radio signal or antenna.
All ears do that, right?
Yeah, all ears.
Because yesterday I was listening to like some Led Zeppelin on my ears.
In your ears, yeah.
Yeah, just. Oh wait, no, I had headphones on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, those were earphones. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't my actual ears playing.
No, they're earphones. No. Put them over your ears.
Gotcha.
They have volume and frequency. Yeah, things like that. But and then so Corny, he's telling his friends, they don't really believe him, but one of the kids pretends to believe him, but only because he wants to cheat off of Corny's math homework because for some reason all Zarkonians are good at long division, which I guess that was just like, it thought would be a funny thing to make up for their race.
He can't understand the difference between a lie and the truth.
Yeah.
But he's good at long division.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah, he can't he falls for everyone's stupid story. He gets abducted by like 80 different predators in like a 15-minute time span. The only reason why he survives is because he's got his zapper that gets him out of bad situations. But yeah, totally like hitting that long division here. Like, we got calculus Corny over here in the corner and whatever. And, the CCC, triple C, and I don't know, dude. What else happens? I'm like blanking.
So yeah, like this kid tries to cheat off of him, and then the teacher, basically he was gonna, lean back so this kid Evan could see his answers, and Evan basically convinces him, hey, if you let me see them, I'm just, you're so smart, I just want to make sure that I got them right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because Corny believes anything.
Yeah.
He believes anything anyone tells him.
And of course the teacher catches on to it because they made it completely obvious that they were cheating. And
oh God. I mean, Corny's literally like, like, oh, it's so hot in here. He's like flipping the paper, like right, like, yeah.
And so the teacher basically, you know, Evan gets in trouble, but Corny doesn't because he doesn't understand what cheating is. And but he's good at long division. And
Yeah.
But then again, you know, I understand a lot of things and I suck at long division. So I mean, it could be, you know, maybe he got all of my abilities in long division that I should have had as a human.
Also, what kind of school? Yeah, just sorry, it took me a second to get.
Yeah.
What kind of school though has journaling and math in the same classroom? Like, there's no separate teachers, like, to teach different subjects.
Well, it's just like on Boy Meets World, for example, back in the day. You know, like Feeney would be teaching one subject one week and then another subject another week, I guess.
Yeah.
But it didn't. But I mean, when we were in when I was in like grade school, I don't know what grade he's in. Do you think it's like middle school or is it younger?
They look. At least Jonathan looks like he's at least 9 or 10. So
that might. I mean, when I was about 9 or 10, we did have one teacher for all of our subjects.
Oh, okay.
So like when I was in like, I mean, what grade would you be in at 9 or 10?
I was in third grade.
Yeah, because like
my birthday's in October, so I was like, you know, in the beginning of the school year.
See, because I went to a Catholic school, and the way we had it was, you know, like basically, because the school I went to went from kindergarten to 8th grade, and we had like they had like a after kindergarten when I started, and we had a morning and an afternoon kindergarten, so it was like, you know, you were either in the morning kindergarten or the afternoon kindergarten. But then when you got to like 1st grade, there was like 1A and 1B, so there'd be like 2 1st grade classrooms. And you'd be in one of them or the other one, and then the next year you'd be in 2A or 2B, and so forth. So yeah, but basically, like, one teacher, you know, would teach you math and social studies and you know, English and whatever else you learn and when you're a kid. The only other time you had a different teacher was for like gym class. And then when I got but when I got to like 7th and 8th grade, we had 2 teachers. It was weird. Like we had like 2 teachers, like one teacher taught us half the subjects and the other teacher taught us the other half of the subjects. And we would switch, like we had like a 7A and a 7B, but like we would go from like, you know, like 7A would be with teacher A in the morning and then teacher B in the afternoon and vice versa. If I remember correctly. So yeah.
Maybe they just didn't have a lot of staff or something, because
yeah,
I don't think it was like that for me. I think I mean like early years, like 1st grade maybe, because I know we had the homeroom, and then, you know, but like I think by 3rd grade for me, I think I at least had like 3 teachers or 4 maybe. I don't know, like,
and that could be like a public school thing as opposed to
a
Catholic school. So. And it could be different in towns too. Maybe Corny's in a small town, and
small town full of predators apparently. But you know, and which is not good. But
and an FBI agent grandpa.
An FBI was not present during the first movie, but now is. But then also leaves at the end of the movie, so maybe he was gone on another adventure.
Yeah,
and then he came back, and then now he's ready for his new adventure, which is defined.
See, I'm not sure how many other adventures there are of Corny, so
there's only 3 episodes, I think, and then there's a workout video apparently.
Yeah, I saw about that. I don't know what the proper order of the Cornyverse is, you know. So
the Cornyverse, yeah. We gotta work this into the multiverse level somehow have Corny like be a movie that someone's watching in one of the movies. We know that he exists somewhere in the multiverse. And anyway, yeah, he cheats unknowingly.
He cheats and he doesn't get in trouble because he doesn't know better. And then he's called a rat by Evan later he says, I'm not a rodent or whatever.
To Jonathan, I don't want to rodent on you or something.
Yeah, I don't want a rodent on you. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, I don't want to rodent on you, bro. Yeah. Weird ass shit. And God, what else? I mean, Evan doesn't like him now because
and then later
got him in trouble.
Later on, the cops are at the house because Grandpa reported his coins and his map stolen, and Corny overhears that and thinks that he's going to go to the police. I mean, he's going to go to jail or something because he took the coins, and that nobody's going to believe him that he didn't take the map. And and then he has a nightmare.
Oh God, the nightmare
about a burglar breaking into the house who looks like he's like cousins to the Hamburglar or something. And I don't know.
The hat burglar.
Yeah. So he's just one quarter pounder away from being a restaurant mascot. And but so that happens, and then he's having these nightmares and he's worried, and it's basically his guilt getting to him. And Jonathan tells him, Grandpa's still awake, you should go tell him, blah blah blah.
He's like, no, I'm gonna have another nightmare. This one, he's like slurring his words and shit. He's like, Grandpa, he's not even telling him. He's like trying to figure out how to tell him. He's like lying in his own dream about what to tell his grandpa.
He keeps repeating it. He's repeating it like a kid in the school play, just like trying to learn his lines. It's like
he's like, no, that won't work. And then he has a hat burger. But then the nightmare changes, and there's a director of a film.
Yeah.
So I guess he's acting, and a ninja murders him by throwing him off of a cliff.
Yeah, because that has anything whatsoever to do with the plot of this movie.
Yeah, and we see Corny literally falling to his death. He lands on a sharp rock before he hits the ground. He was murdered by a ninja on a cliff for some reason, and there was a director who was filming the murder.
Well, I guess that actually sounds like a lot of dreams I do have. So,
oh, really? Like a ninja throws you off a cliff or whatever?
Yeah, and it's part of a movie that I'm.
I guess, and so I guess again, this is so 1995. This kind of weird, like you're in like this weird limbo where like before the 2000s where things got like really weird and trippy. Yeah, like you're in like the sort of transitional phase, and like if I saw these movies when I was like 10, I would have been like maybe 11 or so when this movie came out, and I would just think it's like the funniest thing ever, but like not in the way that they intended it to be. And like, just like, you're literally you're murdering like a child. You're like, that's the other thing too. Corny's supposed to be a kid in this universe, the Corny.
Yes.
And so a ninja murdered a child murderer in a movie. And it's like, it's cool, I guess. And
it's like they threw in the ninja thing because like, oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are cool. So like, I'll throw in ninjas.
Yeah. Ninjas and karate stuff were huge all through the 80s.
You had like 3 ninjas and all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. You had 3 ninjas. You have Surf Ninjas came out in the same year, I think. And Surf Ninjas, another great film. Awesome. Gonna watch that again soon, probably.
Yes.
And then he wakes up. He's pretending to sleep at one point. I don't know, dude. What else? He eventually tells his grandpa, doesn't he? And then
he tells him, and then it turns out that the map was actually left by the great FBI agent and computer hacker.
Yeah.
The computer hacker who, while he was typing on the keyboard, was hunting and pecking for his letter. Like on the keyboard. He's a computer hacker, but he was just typing with one hand.
And also does not own a computer.
Yeah. He has to go to the library to use the computer. I know it's 1995 and not every home had a computer at the time, but do you think a computer hacker would have one?
Have their own computer, yeah. Or maybe he went to the library on purpose because he doesn't want his own computer to be traced back to.
Yes.
He's smart.
Again, he's smarter than we think.
Card.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and usually I think they register who's using the computer at most libraries.
Yeah, so even that it still wouldn't really work, but whatever. So, if anything, it'd actually be even more because they might actually check that even more. So if anything, he made his job even harder.
Yeah, because I used to like when I would be waiting for a bus, like when I was taking a bus from somewhere and I had to like a transfer, I would sometimes go to the library in downtown Toledo, and you'd have to like log in, and you're only allowed to use the computer for so long, and then you were logged out. But if there was another one free, you could log right back in.
Okay.
But yeah, it was so stupid. It was like, oh, you got an hour limit, but when the hour's over, if there's another free computer, you can just log right into that.
Yes.
What the hell? But it did register, that I was at that computer terminal, So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, he left the map at the library when he was doing his computer stuff. Where he was typing with one finger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is okay. The mail lady, she found it at the library.
Yeah, what are the coincidences? That just seemed really coincidental.
I was starting to wonder if she was like a spy herself.
Yeah.
But they didn't go that route.
I think that mail route, and I think there was a whole subplot there with the mail lady that was just left out. I think I want to see that movie more than anything. Where Grandpa and the mail lady get it on.
Well,
I don't want to see them getting it on, and by getting it on, I mean getting together and having dinner and and maybe finding out that she's a spy as well, and then there's like some kind of
their relationship.
Yeah,
building. Like that would be a cool movie.
Or like she turns out to be a spy, and it's this whole like I don't know, like Chuck the TV series thing, but like with old people. That'd be cool.
She's like from Russia, and then Corny had to save his grandfather from being like after whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gets abducted himself because he just believes whatever anyone tells him. This is how he's also now a prisoner or whatever. Yeah, and Jonathan has to save both of them, and then moves them into a witness protection program in Michigan, where their dad works at like a TV show where he talks about tools and stuff.
Yes, but it actually turns out that Jonathan is not a child. He's actually just a really short guy who's like a 60 years old, and he rips off a mask like in Mission Impossible.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. And it's Tom Cruise underneath there.
That's Tom. And he believes in aliens.
But Tom Cruise is about that height, I think.
Is he really?
He's pretty short.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He says he's 5'7", but most people say he's about 5'3".
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually can't really tell how tall people are.
Yeah, in all the movies, they have him stand on an apple box, so he's taller than this female co-star.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I could be, that's what I've heard at least. So I don't want to blaspheme. I don't want Scientology coming after me.
Yeah. That's the you derided our prophet. Well, not our prophet, but whatever. Or like our spokesman for the prophet, or
he's like the equivalent of Peter to Jesus.
Yeah. He's kind of like him and John Travolta are really up there. They're probably like Peter and Paul, maybe, or maybe Peter and John, maybe, and yeah.
And then at one time, Leah Remini was Mary, and there was Peter, Paul, and Mary, and then they used to sing. And that, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Before she exposed the church, but
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with that. That's great. No, yeah. Anyways, so yeah,
canon. Yeah.
Anyways, we find out that everything's good because she, she found the map, and so it wasn't a problem. And then eventually, Robert Culp pulls up in a in a in a limo, and he's like the old partner of Dick Van Patten's character, and they're going off to, solve the case.
Yep.
And Evan comes back and apologizes, and then wants to have Corny help him with his long division because Corny's really good at long division. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, they make that point like 5 million times in the in the movie for some reason.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it ends, right?
That's it. Oh no! Also, but you want to play it with that song?
So
video.
So on the video we found on YouTube of this movie, after the credits, there's a song that's in the middle of the movie that's played at like normal speed, and this plays. It starts out normal, and then you'll hear it's like a tape dying.
It could turn around and make you cry. There'll be truth to each other. This one lies it's full of love. Everybody likes to the story now and then. Possibilities make believe, and it's only just pretend. When you say the story's real, you make it right.
Okay, so
Great song.
That was
It's
something.
one of the best.
Yes. So yeah, just remember, folks. Don't tell a lie. Because when you tell a lie, it might make you cry.
It very well might.
Yes.
Oh boy.
We need.
Why do you always say tracking? What it does that? What does tracking mean?
VHS, like, it was tracking was like you basically the tape had to like get on the right track when it came onto the spool of the VCR and stuff, and it would basically, like, sometimes the tracking would be off, and it would just be because the video was recorded on the wrong part of the tape and stuff. Is my best guess.
I don't even know. You just like my best guess.
I'm just gonna say something. See, you know what that is? I just told the story.
Yeah, and I believe it, like Corny.
Yeah, but it actually kind of makes sense to me, so that's why that's my guess.
I mean, because it always does it whenever something weird's going on. It always says tracking. Like,
yeah, it's usually like on a place where the tape's like either got like a crinkle in it, or that part where there was like new Jamie Lee Curtis that you paused a bunch of times, and but.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or whoever, kids used to do that. Like you go and watch this movie later, like with your parents, and be like, "Why did it mess up right there in that nude scene?" I don't know. No, I'm just.
Yeah, it's like back then the VHS takes toll on you. Like,
yeah.
Like fuck you,
I paused it because I wanted to see boobies, but no,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I never did that. I don't know about, but anyway, so
I used to do that occasionally.
Yeah, but that would happen, or like at the end of a tape when it was like kind of getting, just kind of like the end part of the tape was kind of like that too, where it wouldn't record well. So yeah, that could be what this sound is, or somebody manipulated it. I can't really tell which.
Yeah, so, I really could be either way, really, and.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts here on our good friend Corny?
Just be honest, tell the truth. Don't pocket coins that aren't yours. Try not to have nightmares where a ninja is throwing you off a cliff and the hat burglar is trying to steal hats from you, I guess. I don't know. And try to be street smart. Don't believe everything anyone tells you. Especially if they want to cheat off your homework, don't believe them when they say, "Oh, I just want to check my answers to make sure that they're right." Come on, Corny.
Before we go, I got to tell you a story here, Sesame.
Okay,
It's true.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was walking down the street, and this little man offered me some beans from my cow. And I took them. And then eventually I grew this big beanstalk and I climbed it. True story.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds like Jack and a giant beanstalk.
Maybe. You know what I think? They wrote that story about me,
They wrote about you. Okay.
even though this just happened yesterday.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess the time travel is involved. Maybe.
Yes. The writers of fairy tales, whether it be Grimm or other people, based all of those stories on my life.
I mean, it makes sense.
There was that time where I was locked up in this castle with this beastly like man, and he fell in love with me. And wait.
That's cute. Wait a minute. Wait, was there a talking teacup?
Yes.
Okay, the candle.
Yes.
All right.
My good friend Lumiere. Yeah.
That sounds familiar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Beauty and the Beast, I reminded me because Franz Drescher is the president of the Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah.
She was in a movie called Beautician and the Beast a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
I saw that like decades ago when it came out, but I haven't seen a bunch of memes. People have been making about it. Recently. It's interesting.
Yeah, it had Timothy Dalton in it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting movie.
Maybe we could review that.
Yeah.
When the strike's over.
Yeah. We'll cover that for a future episode for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely would want to watch that. Anyways, folks, make sure you don't tell lies because they might make you cry. And before I say goodbye, there's one more thing I'd like to try.
What's that?
Please go visit our website, all2real2.com, our TeePublic, and our Patreon. Also, check out our YouTube channel. Check out our website, like I said, and subscribe and share the show. Because
Subscribe. Check the tubes, the talks, the grams,
the X. Wait.
Yeah, no. I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm never gonna convert over and call it X. I'm not gonna fucking do it, dude.
No.
I'm not gonna do it. You know why?
Why?
So I was lucky enough to have the Twitter logo at least on my app for at least like a week or two before it got switched over to that stupid X.
Yeah, me too.
Now, as of yesterday, officially, it now says repost. There's no retweet.
No.
It says post. And so now it's officially over for me. I wonder, it'd be interesting if there's a way where if you like download like a program, if it could just sort of like make it look like it's Twitter, like from your end at least, like not obviously if it gets shared, it's still going to be X.
There probably is. I'm sure somebody's come up with that. But you know what's even better? Just don't use the fucking app. Not you. I'm just saying it.
I know.
People in general. Because speaking of beasts, Elon Musk. Anyways, so
I started my account literally 15 years ago, and I didn't start using it until like April this year. So. I don't even know why I got it. I think I was trying to look something up, and I couldn't see the post, so I just wanted to see it. I know it was one of those stupid posts from Anna Kasparian back in March or April or something like that, and I just wanted to read it for myself instead of having to go to a bunch of websites to like.
Oh yeah.
Well. No, and then, but then I just stayed on since April, which whatever. And then,
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's another thing you can do, folks. Go to a coffee shop and talk to a person.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good way to have, social interactions outside of that. As they say, touch grass. Come on. Anyway,
Yes.
so but remember, folks, until next time, I love you. Sesame loves you.
Corny loves you.
Corny loves you, and he doesn't want you to lie.
No.
Or cheat, or steal,
No.
or pop into hot tubs with old people. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.